All right, I had a chance yesterday to talk to Pat Smith, who is in the current production of Slapshot Live, which is currently finishing off its rehearsals. It's set to debut in a couple weeks, and Pat Smith plays the role of Ned Braden, famous for that scene at the end of the movie, the burlesque scene. Anyway, here's the interview I did yesterday with Pat Smith. Joining me right now is Pat Smith, who plays the character of Ned Braden in the theatrical production of Slapshot, one of the most endearing, timeless hockey films of all time. Some people would say it's the greatest sports movie of all time. Now it's being made into a staged production, and according to the press release here, it's Second City's new stage version combines the original film's beloved story and iconic characters with hilarious live-action sequences as well as nostalgic satire of the 1970s. Part homage, part satire, and part gloves-off, bench-clearing brawl, Slapshot Live journeys back to a golden and uncensored era of old-time hockey. That's quite an introduction, quite a task that's being undertaken to recreate Slapshot the movie. So, Pat, what's it been like in rehearsal so far?
It's been pretty much everything you just said. It's been crazy. It's been such an awesome zoo. Everyone that's involved in this are, it's a lot of sports-minded comedians, huge fans of the film, and so everyone's really trying their best to pay their homage or pay their dues to the original project, the original film. But at the same time, everyone's bringing their own thing to it, and it's going to be a wild show.
Now, it's going to be starting from July 2nd to July 14th in Second City in Toronto. And Second City, of course, is one of the most famous, production facilities in terms of actors working out their comedy routines and developing their material. How does this? Have you ever worked at Second City before?
I have, yeah.
So what's it like? I mean, first, I just want to ask you first of all about when we talk about the word iconic. We certainly have to use the word iconic when we're talking about Second City. So just tell me a little bit about, what it's like working in a place like that, and then we'll get into a little bit more about Slapshot, the production.
Well, working at Second City for any comedian, it's a dream job. It's a place where you get to come and create comedy and perform for a large audience that you as an artist didn't have to solicit. You're not, getting your Facebook friends out. You've got a built-in crowd of people that you get to test your comedy chops and build them, and it's such an amazing place, and certainly everybody that steps on that stage feels so lucky. Doing Slapshot is different than our typical Second City process because Slapshot is a script. We were all handed a script from day one.
Yeah, and Second City is an improv place. Again, you mentioned that's where you develop your chops. So how often do you know that they would do something like this, a scripted play or production at Second City?
Second City's done a number of holiday-specific scripted shows. They do Miracle on Mercer, which is a more family-oriented show. They've done a lot of, now that I mentioned it, a lot of family-oriented shows, we'll call them, that are scripted. But I believe that, to the best of my recollection, this is the first show in a long time that's an adult show. The movie Slapshot. It has colorful language. It's quite a bold film, and all of that is in this show. Nothing has been toned down, so to speak, in that way. So it's a different process, being handed a script and with adult material and going as hard as you can at that. And as well, Second City is also well known for not using a ton of props. Often miming a glass or something along those lines, right? Mm-hmm. And in this show, we've got, it's decked out, prop-wise.
In some of the material that was sent to me, it said you grew up in Toronto, you played for 5 years with the Leaside Flames of the Greater Toronto Hockey League, and I'm wondering, you just mentioned about some of the stuff there. So do you guys have to wear, like, a hockey uniform? Do you have to wear skates? And how much is this actual, like, the characters that you would see in the movie?
Yeah, well, the whole theater is below zero right now, so the stage will be completely ice. No, that's a joke. We'll be in full gear. They're going to be completely revamping the stage to look like a hockey rink, and I don't want to blow too many surprises, but they're revamping the whole theater for the show. And yeah, we're going to be in full gear. We'll be wearing full shin pads and shoulder pads, and it's a very physical show. There's a lot of fight sequences. We've got an amazing fight choreographer working with us. We've got like the stage manager who, after this show, she's going on to do Lisa Humbert. She's going on to do Les Mis. So they're really pulling out all the stops, so to speak, to make sure that the production value of this is it feels big. And for us, that today we just did our first dress rehearsal, and it's pretty awesome. Everyone looks pretty impressive, and you can bang into each other and do a lot of things because of the equipment that we otherwise don't typically do on stage.
Yeah, so you're talking about acting, but also physical comedy. Have you ever done physical comedy? Because I guess when you do improv or stuff like that, when you're not using a lot of material, a lot of clothing or whatever, it's just you and trying to recreate scenes. What's it like doing something like this when you actually have the full equipment on?
Well, being Ned Braden, I'm very anti-fighting.
Mm-hmm, right.
The show, right? So I'm sitting back and watching these guys just exhaust themselves, which you might think lucky me, but I want to get in there, man. It looks like so much fun. But at Second City, although it is an improv place, every night they do a 2-act sketch comedy show, right? Which is they improvise to get their scenes to a point where they're, basically they could be scripted. And once you get a script to a point, a scene rather, in Second City, traditional, you get it to a point, they can get quite physical. So I don't think that the cast are strangers to being very physical. But that being said, a lot of the scenes in this show are going to be like an action film. Like our fight choreographer really has high expectations of what we pull off. So I think everyone's on the right track, and I can't wait to see this thing pulled together, because it's just it's going to be a pretty badass piece, if I can say that.
You can say it, you just did. Again, joining us right now is Pat Smith. We've been talking about the Second City's new stage version of Slapshot, which would be totally unique. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the famous striptease scene.
Yeah.
That is it. That is Ned Braden's character, Michael Onkine, and certainly before anybody really knew about Michael Onkine, that scene is it's one of the most memorable scenes of the entire movie. And of course, the entire movie has the scene with the Hanson brothers and the trains and stuff like that. But that is his character's scene that people remember for him. So, how have you gotten into that aspect of the film?
That's my shining moment. We have, again, we're trying to honor the film as best as we can, and that, when I talk to friends, I talk to family about doing this show, so many people have lines that they remember from the show, like stinking rut beer or whatever it might be. And for Ned, in that dance, there are so many memorable movements that he makes. From how he takes off his hockey pants to how he originally starts skating to him going out to center ice. So basically, we've just been working with me on trying to get it there, right? Trying to make it as true to the film and to nail that moment. And there's other components that we'll be throwing in that will also make it funny, because we'll be going probably for the laugh a bit more than they were at that moment. I think it's coming together great. And again, I don't want to give away too much, but I think we're going to do a good job of pulling it off.
Literally pulling it off. The fact it takes place, it's going to start up here in Toronto. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better place, because, of course, Toronto is all about the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a hockey city. Are you a hockey fan per se?
Oh, huge. Leafs just signed Bernier. I'm pretty upset we lost Fratton. I love Fratton. Scrivens, I'm okay on him, but we got Bernier now. I'm a huge Leafs fan. I have been my whole life. And I'm also a huge Jays fan. I'm pretty much a massive Toronto sports fan. So yeah, I mean, when they approached me about this project, I was like, yeah, I'm in 100%. I love sports. I used to play semi-professional baseball. I just love sports, to be honest, and to mesh sports and comedy pretty much excites me more than anything else.
Have the Leafs been apprised of this? Because in other words, I'm asking, like, when this thing starts, there may be a possibility you'll get to meet some of the Toronto Maple Leaf players or any other players that may live in the Toronto area that would want to see this. Because again, anybody that's played hockey, and certainly all these stories about when the junior hockey players are going on a long road trip, the first thing they do is put on the movie Slapshot. It's part of the routine.
Yeah. I mean, Wayne Gretzky hasn't called me to tell me he's coming by. Like, you have a restaurant next door. So, Wayne, if you're listening, come say what's up. Come see Slapshot. I'd love to hang out with you.
Did you ever think they'd make Slapshot into a theater production?
No, I wouldn't. If you were to, I would say, yeah. If somebody were to say to me, hey, what do you think about Slapshot? I would say, that sounds awesome. I want to go see that. Mm-hmm. Similarly, like, if they were to, now that we're in this, I'm like, oh, what if they made Major League into a play like this? You never watch a movie and think that should be a play. Not never, but it's rare. Mm-hmm. And we're in a really fortunate position where Scott Montgomery, who's a former Second City main stage, is an alumni of the theater, who's now one of the head writers I believe he's one of the head writers at the Ron James Show. Scott took the film and he adapted it to write the screenplay, or the play for the stage. And we're in a really fortunate position where somebody like Scott, who knows what we do at Second City, knows what our strengths are, he saw that opportunity and said that can be more. And I think if somebody were to tell you that a sports movie, like if somebody were to say to you, hey, Second City's doing Mighty Ducks at Christmas this year, you might go, oh, that totally makes sense, right? That'd be great.
Yeah.
There's so many iconic moments from the original Mighty Ducks with Gordon Bombay and, Joshua Jackson and all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't think you really, at least for me, it never hits me until it comes up. And with this, when I found out Slapshot was happening, like I know I can say Mark Hickox, who's playing Reg, Mark is an addict of this film. He knows every line inside and out. And he's even done like Canadian hockey commercials, and he just loves hockey, and he's also a great comedian. When Mark found out that we were doing this, he lives in Los Angeles. He called in to Second City, Toronto, and he's like, I'm Reg. Let's make this happen. How can I be a part of this? So I think that a lot of people didn't necessarily know or forecast that this was going to happen, but as soon as everyone heard about it, they were like, yeah, that makes sense, and I'm in.
I think it's just a really ambitious project, and to think that Slapshot, which was made in the 70s, still is timeless, and it always will be timeless. I think it's a bold initiative by the producers, and should be really interesting. I should just point out here that in addition to performing in Slapshot, you were also co-created and co-star in a new sitcom on Bite TV called Guidance, which has just been nominated for multiple Canadian Comedy Awards. So this sort of things are coming together for you at the right time.
Yeah, things are cruising along. We're really excited about that show coming out too. That comes out July 1st. It goes live.
Well, that's great. Your show's coming out, and the theater production of Slapshot's about to start. So, Pat, best of luck with this production. Certainly, when it comes to the striptease scene, are you ready to bear all?
I'm all in.
Beautiful. Okay. Again, Pat, thanks a lot for your time today. Best of luck with the production.
Cheers, Pat. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.